What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lantern, bringing you guys our Week 4 team builder for the PTL, taking on Spanicatthedisco and the New York Rangers. Spanic's a good pal, fellow hockey fan, and we are also in the WPL together. Yeah, just a really good, really cool dude. I love talking to him, and this will be the first time we're battling, so it's kind of fun. Unfortunately, he's had a pretty shit start to the season. He's been hacked out of a game and then hasn't performed up to his normal standards. I would say. Also, he is not going to be in the league after this week. I believe he's dropping week 5, so we are his final battle, from what I know. So let's run through his team then. He's got Landers, Therian, Mega Charizard X, Alolan Ninetales, Vaporeon, regular Scizor, Starmie as a user, Tangela, Xurkitree as a user, Ariados, Mandibuzz, Purugly, and Monferno as a user. So he's up to the 12 Mons now. Priority options, he's got Scizor with Bullet Punch, technically Alolan Ninetales with Ice Shard, which I used to say all the time, but no longer relevant. Um, Ariados has Sucker Punch, and I think that's the only one it gets. I want to say that's the only one it gets. Okay, either way, whatever. And then Monferno also gets Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave, I believe. I think it gets both. I'm not entirely sure if it gets Vacuum Wave, but I know it gets Mach Punch. Hazard setting, he's got Lando with Rocks and the Ariados with Webs, and then Monferno with Rocks. So kind of limited on the Rock setting there. I actually kind of am scared of a Monferno bring, and I think if it comes, it's going to have Rocks for sure. Removal options, he's got Lando with Defog, Zardex with Defog, Scizor with Defog, Starmie with Rapid Spin, and Mandibuzz with Defog. So lots of defoggers there, and then it's pretty good that he's got Webs with Spin instead of having defog there. You know, maybe Spikes or T-Spikes would be a little bit helpful on the team. 4 times weaknesses, he's got Landorus to Ice and Scizor to Fire. Not to mention Charizard is 4 times weak to Rocks before Mega Evolution. So, we don't have to Mega Evolve first turn. I think he probably would want to get rid of that 4 times weakness to Rocks, but that is just me. In terms of what I don't think is going to come, I don't really think Tangela wants to come against my team. It can, but will it? I don't know. That's sort of up in the air to be determined. I don't think he would want to, and if Tangela shows up, I'm not that scared. I would be a little bit more scared if something else came, to be completely honest with you. So if Tangela comes, then something isn't coming, and that's good for me. Xurkitree, I'm not really that scared of Xurkitree either. Xurkitree is pretty easy to play around with how slow it is, so it's kind of just not a threat against my team overall. I've got a lot to deal with it and a lot that outspeeds it, so it's not in the greatest position to do anything against me. I don't know. I'm sketched out about Xurkitree a little bit, but at the same time I'm kind of not. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Purugly is another mon could definitely come against me. I just don't know if it will. It outspeeds a lot of stuff. Only things outspeeding it are Lopunny and Raikou. Like a Scarf Purugly wouldn't be that bad. It gets Defiant, so he can punish me defogging, I guess. If he really wanted to, he could punish me defogging. Again, if Purugly comes, then a bigger threat to me is not coming, and that's sort of what I think is going to happen there. Honestly, he could just bring his top 6, the Lando, the Zardex, the Alolan Ninetales, Vaporeon, Scizor, Starmie. Lando would probably have to have Rocks at that stage, so it may not be Scarfed. I definitely think a Light Clay Ninetales is in order here, really. Although I'm a little bit sketched out if he would even bring Ninetales. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Jirachi doesn't look amazing against his team, but he might think that it does. And so bringing Ninetales against Jirachi is a little bit sketchy there. Vaporeon I had to prep for because otherwise it kind of just walls my team. Since I didn't opt to bring Roserade this week, Roserade was definitely a solid bring against a lot of the mods here. I think, actually he can't be Z-Lando, so that takes that out of the equation, which is really useful information. Again, Monferno I think poses a little bit of an issue. It can like revenge kill Mega Lopunny with Mach Punches and whatnot. Regular Scizor I think makes an appearance. It's his best way to deal with Clefable. Otherwise, Clefable sits on his face, besides the Ariados, but Clefable outspeeds Ariados. Ariados is definitely an interesting bring. He might want it for the Webs. Webs would help him out a lot in this matchup, so we'll see about that. Megazord X, I think, has to come. I just really think it has to come. Mandibuzz is realistically his best Mega Lopunny check, and so I think Mandibuzz is coming as a Mega Lopunny check, or Rocky Helmet Lando is his Mega Lopunny check. One of those two I don't think you bring both necessarily because Lando does what Mandibuzz does without recovery. That's pretty much all there is to it. So, in terms of what I'm bringing then, I am bringing the Lopunny here, Mega Lopunny, with Power Up Punch, Return, Drain Punch, Ice Punch. Oh boy, I wish this got Iron Fist. Yeah, this looks like a very Conkeldurr-ish set, and then I throw Return on there too. So Power Up Punch lets me sort of catch whatever wants to switch in, and then +1 will just obliterate, like +1 Ice Punch just blows back Mandibuzz Lando. Or the Lando, if he switches in, then I reduce the Intimidate threat right away. Drain Punch is there for recovery. It's pretty necessary for me to have the Drain Punch this week, I think. It's really important, actually. I definitely was considering running Facade over Return here, and I might actually change that to Facade just because of the Vaporeon getting a Scald Burn on me. Then it becomes a non-issue and makes me maybe a bigger threat against the team, just because Facade, his normal resist is Scizor because he doesn't have a Ghost, so it's pretty helpful if I could get that off maybe. Or I don't know. There's not a whole lot that else that would want a status Mega Lopunny really, so maybe I'm not as concerned about that. Again, Ice Punch is there for the Lando and the Mandibuzz potentially. Drain Punch gets me a shitload of health back against a lot of stuff, especially because I can afford to run Adamant against his team, and then Return is just standard Mega Lopunny nuke. Team with minimal normal resist. I thought about running Fire Punch. It wasn't really worth it. Drain Punch deals with the Scizor well enough. Yeah, so I'm running enough speed on here to outrun Starmie, which is his fastest mon, and then that lets me run Adamant, which is really fun. I like running Adamant, and yeah, I'm Limber, so I avoid any T-Waves. I think only a Xurkitree can paralyze me. Maybe Starmie gets T-Wave, I'm not entirely sure. There's not a whole lot on his team that actually gets T-Wave, so Limber is not the greatest, but the other abilities for Lopunny are so bad. Like, let's look through them here. Q-Charm and Klutz are both so shit. And Q-Charm is actually banned in this league. I'm not allowed to run Q-Charm if I can avoid it. So I basically am forced into Limber because Klutz is completely worthless. Yeah, forced into Limber. It's useful to an extent anyways. So that's the Mega Lopunny. Next up is Heatmore, making its season debut. I'm bringing K with a Scarf. So very interesting that I'm even bringing Heatmore in the first place, let alone a Scarf set. Heatmore actually has a pretty decent matchup here. It's a nice Scizor resist, which otherwise would be limited to Raikou on this team, so it's kind of nice having a Scizor resist there. Because I'm not bringing the Jirachi obviously to resist Bullet Punch, and I'm not bringing Blastoise this week. I really didn't want to bring Blastoise because I wanted to be able to get rid of Veil. Otherwise, I was definitely going to bring Blastoise as a Starmie answer, and as a Roar option and a Spinner. But I opted to go with Braviary for my removal because I want to get rid of Veil and Webs at the same time, and not have to try and deal with Veil, because fuck that. Yeah, so Heatmore gets Flash Fire. Who knew? Actually, I did, because I did the... whatever, man. I did the thing. Flash Fire is not great, this matchup. It's really not that fantastic. It's sort of just there if I wanted to chew a Flare Blitz from the Zard X, which I definitely think he would want to click against something like Clefable. So I can switch into Heatmore, get the Flash Fire boost. It's not super relevant. White Smoke might be a little bit better because then I can't get intimidated by the Lando, but it's overall not the end of the world here. Fire Lash is good stab against a lot of his team, lets me deal with the Scizor very effectively, and not much really wants to switch on Fire Lash afterwards. Like, I know Megazard X resists it, and Vaporeon resists it, but once their defense is lowered, it's a little bit more of a problem for them, which is kind of why I drafted Heatmore. I think it's a really neat fire type, and it's not like it's completely out of the realm of possibility here. I'm running HP Ice for the Lando, catch the Lando off guard a little bit there. Obviously, I don't need HP Fire because I'm a fire type, so HP Ice is the next best thing to hit the Lando. I could run HP Rock for the Zard X, but instead I'm running Stomping Tantrum for the Zard X. That's the only reason I'm running Stomping Tantrum. This is an effective way to break down the Ariados and the Tangela as well, by the way. As a Scarf set, it's able to outspeed the Alolan Ninetales. I'm actually outspeeding the Starmie with this investment, and I've got Thunder Punch on there to catch his water types as well. So I don't know if he'd want to switch in Zard X on the Heatmore. He'd probably be more likely to switch into the Vaporeon, in which case I have Thunder Punch, which is going to do a decent chunk. I'm running Naive. I want to be able to take bullet punches, so I don't want to run Hasty. And so I'm running Naive, which means I'm going to be weaker to the special attacks, which is fine because I'm not really staying in on special water type attacks anyways. I don't think I can deal with the Xurkitree that effectively, I am Scarf, so if he's not speed boosting, then Scarf Stomping Tantrum, sorry, is going to do quite a bit. Or the Fire Lash, I can lower the defense of the Xurkitree maybe for something else. Yeah, I'm running max attack, plop the rest into special attack, and then I have an odd value of HP, so I can come in on rocks 5 times instead of 4. No, 4 times instead of 3, sorry. There we go. Next up, Scarf Chomp. Also bringing a Scarf Chomp. So I'm running dual Scarfers, but Scarf Chomp's pretty necessary this game. Lets me outspeed the Landorus. If he's Scarf, it lets me outspeed the Charizard X once he's boosted. The only things that are going to outrun my Scarf Chomp are Scarf Per Ugly and Scarf Starmie, and Scarf Ninetales, which I don't think any of them necessarily want to run that set. Scarf Ninetales may be a thing in case he wants to Moonblast Mega Lopunny. Actually, that's probably that may be his Scarfer. If the Lando is going to be defensive, then maybe it's Scarf Ninetales. Who knows? Or Scarf Trick Starmie could definitely be a thing too. I've got Brick Break on here to get rid of Veil in a pinch. Earthquake deals with a lot of the team. Dragon Claw also deals with a lot of the team. Again, his fairy is Alolan Ninetales, which in my opinion is not a great fairy, but it's a good ice type. And I've got Flamethrower on there to deal with the Scizor in a pinch as well. That's pretty much it. I can deal with the Tangela with that too. Tangela is typically a physically defensive wall rather than a specially defensive wall, so Flamethrower is fairly effective even if I'm Jolly. I'm running Jolly with enough speed on here to outrun the Zard X, and then max attack, a little bit of HP. Clefable coming in, unaware Clefable, so I want to be unaware for the Lando. I'm kind of regretting that a little bit now because the Lando's obviously not a Z-user, but it's fine. Unaware set can still be very effective here against the Tail Glow Xurkitree potentially, SD Scizor, which will still blow me back with Bullet Punch, but maybe not as much. And the Zard X obviously is, it's still going to hit hard, but without the boost, it's fine. So rocks, pretty important to get up rocks against his team. His removal options, he's got a lot of them. I just don't know if he can ever click Defog that often against me. So pretty important to get those up early. If I see Ariados, I'm not leading with Clefable. I'll probably lead with Heat more if I see Ariados. Or the Braviary even, maybe. Just U-turn into Raikou or something and put a shitload of pressure on him. I've got the Moonblast there to just hit things pretty decently hard. Obviously, the Scizor can come in freely. I've got a couple Bullet Punch resists, obviously, in the Raikou and the Heatmore, so I'm not super duper scared of the Scizor, but I maybe should be. I've got Moonlight there for recovery, and then Toxic to deal with, I don't know, Vaporeon. Toxicking anything is really a good thing, but if Scizor's going to switch into Clefable, I don't think he can safely switch in Scizor on Clefable because he knows that it gets fire coverage, but that might be an option for him. I'm physically defensive to take on the Zard X. Raikou, bringing a Expert Belt Raikou set. Looks pretty good here to me with Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice. So Expert Belt, Hidden Power Ice should power me through the Landorus there. I don't really have much to hit the Zard X with on this set, but if he's non-Mega Evolved, he can't switch it in on me. He's got to bring it in afterwards, and I can Volt Switch out because I know I'll be faster. Probably into Clefable or Scarf Chomp. Take the EQ or something along those lines. I don't know. Yeah, HP Ice is there for the Lando. I have to bring it for the Lando. It's also going to hit the Tangela fairly effectively, which would maybe be his other Raikou switch in. Besides that, I obliterate Vaporeon and Starmie with this, which is kind of the main idea, and the Mandibuzz, all of which might be problems. And then I've got Toxic for anything else that would want to switch in on me. So Thunderbolt's pretty spammable here, especially considering I don't think he's going to be Scarf Lando. Obviously, I have to scout that out, but I do think it would be Rocky Helmet, depending on the Mandibuzz set. I'm running max speed tie Starmie, max special attack, a little bit of Spadef on there. Last but not least is Braviary. I'm actually running triple Scarf this week. It's pretty effective, I'm not going to lie. He has a total of 1 Flying Resist, and it's Xurkitree, which is not a Flying Resist in reality. Xurkitree's base stats are very, very much skewed to the offensive side and not at all skewed to the defensive side. So I think it's pretty safe to just bring Braviary and click Brave Bird. Against most of his team, it's fairly safe. It's a really good wall breaker this week. It's obviously slower than mons like the Zard X. Unfortunately, it's slower than mons like the Zard X, but it's a really effective Brave Bird spammer against a lot of this team. Like I said, he doesn't really have the flying resistance in place to deal with this, and it's nice to get some momentum off. So I've got the nice Volt turn here with the Raikou and the Braviary going on, which I think is really cool. In a pinch, I've got Tailwind support, which maybe helps out my Mega Lopunny to an extent. Obviously, it's not going to be super great with triple Scarfers, but can maybe help out the Raikou in a pinch too. U-turn for the momentum, and then I got Defog there to get rid of webs and the Veil in a pinch. Rocks too, but I'm not super concerned. I should be more concerned about rocks this week because I'm bringing 2 of my rocks weaknesses. My only 2 rocks weaknesses? My only 2 rocks weaknesses, so I should be a little bit more concerned, but I'm not. I'm running max speed just in case he wants to get wacky with his Mandibuzz, so I'm speed tying Mandibuzz, max speed Mandibuzz, max attack, and a little bit of defense there. So in terms of what I'm not bringing, Jirachi, Lando and Zardex are a big problem for Jirachi. I'd have to run fire coverage for the Scizor too, which I'm not a big fan of. I was considering more of a special set against his team because it definitely looked solid. Mandibuzz kind of shut it down too, so again, Jirachi didn't really look that great. I don't think he's going to anticipate Jirachi. Roserade, I thought as a nice way to deal with the Vaporeon, the Tangela, and the Starmie all together, maybe with Technician HP Fire for the Scizor. I don't really need Technician HP Ice for the Lando at that stage. Zardex outspeeds it. That's the main reason I didn't want to bring Roserade again. Mandibuzz kind of shuts it down. My Mandibuzz check, realistically, if it's an offensive Mandibuzz, is a Raikou, so I'm not super stoked about that. Blastoise, again, I told you guys I was considering Blastoise very much so, but I ended up going with the Braviary over the Blastoise. You know, I may not want... Okay, so the thing is, right, is that I'm running Triple Scarf. Maybe I don't want the Scarf on the Heatmor. Maybe I don't want the Scarf on the Heatmor. I really thought about it, but maybe I don't need the Scarf on the Heatmor. Maybe I just run AV Heatmor instead and take all of this speed investment off. Or Shuka Heatmor for the Lando. Shuka Heatmor, maybe. Maybe that's a little bit better. Max out the HP investment there, because I don't need the speed. Do I? I need a little bit of speed actually. I need a little bit of speed. I don't need naive though, do I? Doesn't really make sense. Don't really need adamant either. Maybe plus attack minus Spadef. What's that? Lonely? No, it's minus defense. Plus attack minus Spadef. Naughty. There we go. Actually, take a little bit of it out of attack and put it into speed just to creep over Scizor. Cool. Okay, so just did Heatmor then. Heatmor outspeeds. No speed. Scizor. A little bit more effective of a Heatmor set. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't really need 3 Scarfers against him, and so that makes a lot of sense there. Drapion. I didn't think Drapion had a good matchup. You know, it can definitely Pursuit Trap the Starmie. I'm not entirely sure if Starmie's coming. It's an effective way of dealing with the Ninetales, potentially. I don't know. There's nothing stopping Drapion from coming. I just didn't see that it fit on the team that well. T-Spikes could have been fairly effective against him. Again, I'm not entirely sure on the Ariados coming, so T-Spikes might have been a little bit effective here. Golurk, I'm still looking for a matchup where Golurk is going to do work. I'm not sold on keeping Golurk on the team. I kind of want to drop it, but we'll see what's available for us. So that is going to be it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys for the match.